Hi, welcome to Golden Years. I'm Lori Betts, and my special guest this month is Nick Solar, the Community Policing Coordinator of Brunswick. So come on back, and we're going to give you some really good safety tips.
Hey, Mom. I got the job.
You've got the job. Welcome aboard.
I've got a job to do today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Donate to Goodwill. Help provide job training in your community.
Welcome back. I'm Lori Betts from Golden Years, and I'm interviewing Nick Solar, and he is also the host of the Police Beat. So we are going to talk to you today, share with you what's going on in the crazy world. We're going to give you some safety tips. So we hope you stay and watch the entire show. Thanks, Nick, for joining us today.
Lori, thanks for having me. And it's kind of a little bit different being on the other side of the show instead of hosting, answering the questions, but I'm sure we'll fire stuff back and forth.
We'll play off each other.
That's correct.
And I interviewed you, I think, when I first became the host, and you had a lot of good tips.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a new year, and there's a lot happening in the world. And I know there are a lot of scams out there, and they do prey on the seniors. So what's like one of the things that are happening out there that they should be aware of?
I guess to start off, the one thing I don't want to say terrifies me, but the advances in technology over the years that, exponentially have just grown and grown and grown. We have people on Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. Some seniors are on it, some seniors use it, others elect not to. So to me, it's a personal choice on their part. I'm not saying don't do it, but that's unfortunately how a lot of these scams originate. For an example, Facebook, even though hypothetically, let's say I'm not even going to say hypothetically because I'm a grandparent. I'm not on Facebook, but yet I have grandchildren on there that may post stuff. So, people wonder, how do they know my name or how do they know who I am? Well, they'll see these Facebook pages, so they'll see my face, and grandchildren may put Papa Nick or Papa Nick Solar or whatever, and situations where we're going on vacation. So now this is one thing. Don't put any of that kind of stuff out that you're going to be out of town on vacation in any
Given time.
Social media type of thing where people know that your home might be vulnerable.
And now I am not a Facebook person because I chose not to go there yet, because a friend is a friend is a friend, and like you said, you don't know where that's going out to.
Mm-hmm.
And so you do have to be very careful. Like you said, to share that information, because you don't know where it's going to go around and in whose hands, who's going to be in whose eyes,
Mm-hmm.
so they know.
And people, the seniors I deal with wonder, how do people get their information? How do they know to call me? A lot of them don't have unlisted phone numbers, but our information's out there, whether we realize it or not. There's any number of ways that people can access our personal information. So they will call us. Any type of scam. Telephone thing seems to be the one that's most prevalent. And I would, number one, caution seniors when it comes to gambling, lotteries, those types of things. That's one of the most popular scams, where a senior will get a call or whatever and say you won a lottery and you're getting a convertible or all kinds of cash or whatever the prize might be. First things first, to our listening audience, if you didn't enter anything, ladies and gentlemen, you didn't win anything. I'm sorry to break the news to you that way, but it's like if you're doing a publisher's clearinghouse or you're actually entering stuff, you may or may not be a winner. Chances are highly unlikely that you are. But if you just get these random calls that just say you won a car or this and that, it's it's not true. And generally, to take it further, what happens then is you will be asked to Western Union an amount of money to pay for taxes or shipping or, you know, whatever excuse or reason that people will come up with. So
And they
then-
ask for your bank account or they ask for your credit card.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of times they just want money Western Union to them, you know. So then you'll take money out of the bank, you know, or whatever, go down to wherever, you know, Western Union terminal is located, and there's several of them throughout the area, and you will Western Union the money. So now they kind of have a hook on you. So they will try to get more money from you until you get to the point where you realize, hey, this is not a good deal. The thing that worries me the most is that people are afraid to report this. A lot of times they're embarrassed because, you know, they realize they've been had. And, you know, they're ashamed that, you know, I should have known better and this, that, and the other, so they won't report it. And the more people report things, the better off we have a chance of stopping these scams. One of the other telephone scams that we get quite frequently with senior citizens is the grandparent scam.
Yeah, that
Where,
happened to my mother-in-law.
Happened to your mother-in-law? Where you will get a telephone call, grandson, granddaughter, somebody like that is in Puerto Rico, someplace out of the country. They're in jail. They need either A, bond money, or B, money to retain an attorney or whatever. And then once again, we need you to Western Union, $2,500, $3,000, you know, to get this type of thing going.
And the best thing you should tell the audience, hang up. Hang up and report it. Don't play on them. My mother-in-law got that call and she said, I'm sorry, I do not know your voice. I'm not taking this phone call. And she just hung up on them. And I know there's a percentage of people that want more information and they're going to believe that it is their grandchild.
Right.
But don't fall into their hands.
Because a lot of these, and I'll call them actors, because in a sense, these people are calling or playing roles. So they will pretend to be the grandchild, and like I say, you know, with the information that's out there, they can come up with your granddaughter, grandson's name, and you know, the actor can say, you know, Timmy, this is Grandma, this is Timmy, or Grandpa, this is Timmy, or whatever. So they actually think it is their grandchild. Another instance that we had not too long ago where actually the actor, I say that term loosely again, purported to be a police officer, you know, and used...
Who we trust.
Right, but to me used a cocky name, you know, this is Sergeant Jeffrey Swagger. And if anything should turn, you know, the name Swagger is kind of a cocky name, and tried to get money. And actually, one of our, you know, gave the phone number. We have a female detective on the police department. She actually called the number back, and the actor answered the phone, Swagger here, you know, and she identified herself. Well, he starts talking to her, hey, honey, how you doing, you know, kind of thing, and basically, you know, wasn't any help, but hangs up. Next day, you know, calls back the number again, the number was disconnected. So these people move around, they change phone numbers, you know, with the easy accessibility of getting cell phones and different numbers and stuff, they're constantly on the move and changing phone numbers. So like I say, if you get, especially any of these grandparent scams, even though they tell you don't call mom or dad, verify that person is okay. You know, if you have any doubt, you know, because we always want to help our family members.
Oh, definitely.
But verify it before you go ahead and start sending any money or anything like that. So that would be one big thing I would urge people to do.
Hold on to your dollars. And there was another scam a couple months ago with Lifeline Emergency Pendant. They call you up and they say, okay, we're sending you the Lifeline for free. We just need your credit card to pay for the shipping. And then they give them their credit card. And then that's where all the charges happening, because it's a scam, a scam. And I have a lot of, even though we have caller ID, obviously, but a lot of seniors might not have caller ID. When I call people and I say, okay, I'm Lori from GTB, they will hang up on you because the senior, number one, doesn't always listen well. They don't understand. And if we're talking at a fast pace, they can't grasp who's calling and they can't hear. So these actors really have to be good to get that senior's attention. And like I said, I know there's a percentage of people that do just hang up, and then there is a percentage that will listen and fall into it.
Yeah. Well, I will always suggest to people, if they're in doubt about who is actually placing the call, and like I say, I've been with the police department for 36 years now, and it's amazing the information that people will give you on the phone. Even though I'm calling for a legitimate reason to get information or whatever the situation might be, but you know, how do you really know unless you recognize my voice that I'm really who I'm saying I am? So I always urge people, if you get a call from you know, say a hospital, a police department, any of these things, you mentioned Lifeline, you know, ask for a callback number. You know, can I call you back? I'm busy right now. You know, I got to go to the bank. Any, any number of excuses. Can I please call you back? I can't talk this minute. Get a callback number and, you know, go from there. Because some of these callback numbers, if you don't recognize, like I say, in your instance, the Lifeline situation, you in your business would know what the regular, you know, the 1-800 number or whatever it is for Lifeline. So, you know, people can verify through you. Is this a, you know, a legitimate number or call for Lifeline?
And going back to that, I had a son come into the store and said, okay, did you set up he's a customer of ours. Did you call Mom and set up an appointment on December 4th at 11 o'clock to come over and check out her Lifeline? And I said, no. And he said, well, there's a company out there telling the people they're coming over this date at this time for a new Lifeline. And so, and he knew that wasn't my form of how I do things. You know, I'll try to contact the family, the family's kids to say, okay, I'm doing the Lifeline. Do you need to be there, or do you want me to just do this on your own? I mean, because so many scams are out there. I mean, you want the senior to feel comfortable that you're going into their home. And I always tell people, I am calling you first before I come over so you can unlock that door. Don't leave those doors unlocked. I mean, there's too many crazies out there today.
We've had a couple incidents in the city, and Brunswick Police Department has its own Facebook page. So a lot of times we will post stuff on Facebook that we get information from other area departments that have had similar things, and then sometimes people read too much into stuff because it's tough to monitor Facebook 24/7 when you're dealing with emergency calls and everything like that. But we have had incidents in the city where people have come over to houses of senior citizens purporting to be water company, gas company, electric company. I need to check your meter, your water lines, a breaker, you know, whatever the situation.
A tree in your yard.
Whatever the situation might be. My advice to anyone out there is, if you didn't call for a particular service, don't let anybody in your house. In other words, your dryer goes on the fritz, you call a repairman to come out, okay? So you have initiated, I don't want to call it a transaction, but you have initiated that thing. Somebody randomly showing up at your house like that, never let them in the house. This type of scam, what happens is they will try to distract you, and let's go down the basement to check your water lines or whatever. While you're down the basement, the individual that comes in the house with you then calls or texts or does something to his associate, once again I use the term loosely, associate, who is waiting outside, who then comes into the home because the door's left open, you know, comes into the home, hurries up and looks, you know, try to looking for money, credit cards, things like that, and takes off before you realize what has happened. So once again, to seniors, don't let anybody into your home that you have not invited. You know, if you have any issues, problems, questions, contact the police department. Lock the door, don't let anybody in, and chances are that person will skedaddle before police arrive anyhow if they feel something's up, because they don't want to attract any suspicion if they can possibly do so.
Good point. All right, Nick, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back, and we're going to hear more about safety tips.
Some dogs fetch and roll over. Some dogs take you to Spain and shopping for refrigerators, help you get through grad school, start your own business, go on hikes in the Grand Canyon. Some dogs you trust with your life every day. Being partners with a guide dog is having the freedom to do what you want in life. Nothing more, nothing less. And with your help, nothing need ever change that. Call 1-888-884-DOGS or visit guidedogs.com.
We're all in this together. When you recognize something isn't right, make the call to the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255 and press 1.
Welcome back to Golden Years. I'm Lori Betts, and I'm interviewing Nick Solar from Brunswick Police Department, and we are giving you some safety tips, and hopefully you're going to listen. Okay, the beginning of the month, we had the below zero temperatures. We cannot stress enough for you seniors to stay in your home when the weather is bad. There's nothing so necessary that you have to run out, pay a bill, get groceries. You probably have eggs in your house, bread. What kind of tips can you give them to keep them home?
It's very difficult at times when people have it, in their own mind. I want to go out. I have to do this. You can't tie people up to a chair and keep them in the house. But this type of weather, we're extremely susceptible to falls. And quite commonly what happens to us, I'll put myself in that category either. The older we get, the more susceptible we are to broken bones and stuff like that. So, broken hips are a high up on the list when people fall and stuff like that. So you don't want to necessarily have to be laid up for an extensive period of time. If it's something, some type of emergency, call a family member, relative, friend or something if it's something that you need in the way of medication or something like that. And obviously, to me, pre-planning helps in situations like this. Now with the weather alerts and things that we have, with this recent cold spell we had, we knew days in advance that it was going to get very cold in a few days. So that would be the opportunity. Okay, I probably need to go out now, make sure I have all my prescriptions taken care of. I have milk, eggs, bread, whatever grocery items. And I noticed just in the city, right before this extreme cold spell hit, our local grocery stores, Aldi's, Bueller's, Giant Eagle, Mark's, parking lots were full. During the week, not necessarily right by a holiday, but people were pre-planning so they know, okay, it's going to get bad. I don't want to have to go out in this because of the cold. Make sure I have everything I need ahead of time. So to me, the best thing that we can do is pre-plan, make sure that we have what we need so we can ride it out for a day or two without having to go out.
And nothing is so important that you have to get out of that house. The mail can wait for you. My mother-in-law, as soon as she sees that sun shining, she thinks, oh, it's okay, I could go out. Well, we had so much black ice. I mean, people don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Parking lots, I mean, even though they're plowed, there's ice underneath the snow. You could go down instantly. And like you said, break the hip, break the ankle. And if you're alone and no one sees you laying in that parking lot, you know, you're done.
Correct. And like I say, to me, pre-planning is the
key.
Is the biggest thing. You know, stay in the house, stay warm, you know, do what you need to do to take care of yourself.
And I know one of your big points is when you are shopping, good weather, the purse. A lot of women have the issue with their purses. They think that if they have their purse in the shopping cart, no one's going to touch it. Well, share with them how that purse can be gone in a heartbeat.
And not just the purse, because what commonly happens is when we go shopping, you know, wife, mother, whatever has the purse, and they put it in the child seat of the grocery cart. They have the purse open because maybe they'll have coupons or whatever, and you know, you'll be looking at stuff and getting distracted. And a lot of times people don't even take the purse. They'll just reach in and take, you know, you have your wallet in your purse with your cash, credit cards, whatever. They'll just take that out, and they won't realize, or you won't realize until you get to the checkout and you start looking, well, where's my wallet with my money? How am I going to pay for this? And by then it's gone. Just a little bit of a story to say how quick this works as far as a credit card thing. We had an incident at one of our stores right around the holiday time a few years ago. And this is what happens because we get distracted. And I'm not want to pick on any one group, but it's like you're going down one aisle and I thought, oh man, I forgot spaghetti sauce on the next aisle. So instead of taking my cart with me, I'll leave the purse in the cart and I'll just walk real quick, get the spaghetti sauce, come back, put it in the cart. Well, what happened during this time, somebody took the person's purse. So the person starts looking around, calls store management, they check the restrooms, can't find the purse, contact the police department, we come down, we take a report, person comes home and you know, calls wherever their credit cards, cancels the cards. Okay, here's what happened in the interim on this situation. First thing that people like to stop for when they have these credit cards is a gas station. Okay, especially with the price of gas now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I pull up to the pump, I'll take a credit card out, bang, going in there, it says authorizing, good to go. It doesn't say good to go, but you know, authorizing, you know, please fuel up or whatever it says. So now I know that the card hasn't been canceled, so I'll pump, you know, fill my car up with gas. So this incident occurred in Brunswick. First stop this person made was gas station at 82 and 71 in Strongsville.
Okay.
From there, they went north to Ridge and 480 where you have Best Buy, H.H. Gregg.
Oh, yeah.
So they charged a few $1,000s at Best Buy, same at H.H. Gregg. They went on Brook Park to Sam's Club, got them for a few $1,000s more. Same credit card, they're still, because it hasn't been declined yet, and you're a salesperson that says, hey, I want to buy 2 color TVs. Well, I'm not gonna,
oh, yeah,
I'm not gonna argue with you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is a sale I'm making.
And some of them have
Excuse me.
self-checkouts.
Right.
So as long as the card works.
So from there, this person went to a CVS at 140th and Lorraine and tried to buy all kinds of baby formula, milk and stuff like that, and used the credit card. The card was declined at that point. So the person paid for the milk with cash and left. Excuse me. But you could see in that amount of time, I mean, they work quickly because people are going to call. So as soon as I get these cards, bam, I'm going to use them and run with it. So, you know, what you were saying about credit cards before too, once again, and it goes back to what I said earlier, unless you initiate a transaction yourself, because a lot of people, they do whatever QVC home shopping club or whatever, because they can't, you know, so they'll charge stuff with a credit card, which is fine, but I always caution people, always check your statements that you get every month, make sure that everything's on there is correct, what you actually ordered, and not, you know, some little miscellaneous charge or something that's being put in there. So do not give out your credit card number to anybody that calls on the telephone and is trying to initiate something with you, whether they say, I'm the bank, you know, First Merit, PNC, whatever it be, you know, we need to verify your account, I need your, you know, there's been some activity, I need to verify your credit card number or something like that. Don't do it. You know, if you have a question, you can call a local branch or something like that, or, you know, once again, call PNC itself, the fraud unit or something, if you want to verify that something's going on. But on an original call, don't give out any information. And while I'm thinking about another scam where people will get your social security number or other information like that, is a jury duty scam, where you will get a call and an actor purporting to be Medina Municipal Court, Common Pleas Court, something like that. You were scheduled for jury duty and, you know, make up a date and fail to appear. You know, if you don't, you know, and most people are law-abiding. They take these things seriously. I want, you know, if I get called for jury duty, you know, I want to appear. I want to do my civic duty, kind of thing. And they become frightened, and you know, they say if you don't, you know, there may be a warrant issued for your arrest, so you become terrified. I need your social security number to, you know, confirm that you're Lori Betts or whoever it is. So people will give them their social security number and things like that. So it makes it easy for these thieves to make up credit cards and this, that, and the other. And once they got your social security number, they're off and running as far as making charges or things like that. So advice to any residents: none of the courts here in Medina County will call you like that on the phone. It's always, you know, you'll get letters in the mail. If you are called for jury duty, you know, you always get a thing. You're scheduled on, you know, let's say tomorrow, call after 4:30 to see if your case is still going forward, whether you have to appear. But it's all done via mail. There's not going to be getting any calls to you saying that you failed to appear for jury duty. If somehow you don't get the mail or something falls through the cracks, they'll send you another letter. You're not going, you know what I mean? You're not going to get a call from the court saying, hey, you missed jury duty, you're going to be arrested, kind of thing. Just not going to happen.
And on that point too, as far as jury duty, if you feel you cannot physically go to jury duty, you can always call them up and say, you know what, this old, you know, I cannot really physically attend court, so can I be excused?
Yeah, and that's up to the court, and I'm sure they'd be willing to work with you. But once again, you're getting something in the mail saying, you know, a lot of times you get it at the beginning of the year, a letter saying that you're on the pool now, you may be called sometime during the year, but it's always done by mail. And if you have any questions, there's a phone number, you know, on the letter that you can call to, you know, like I say, to address any needs that you might have, physical incapabilities or whatever the situation might be. Because as long as you're a registered voter, you will, you know, there's a chance you will get called or something at some point for jury duty.
Well, thank you, Nick, for joining me on Golden Years. And I hope you learned some wonderful information from us today. Just remember, be safe and watch who you let into your own homes. And when you're answering your telephones, watch what you're saying yes to. Have a good month, and we'll see you next month.
I'm super excited to introduce my dad because he's my hero. When I was little, he was doing this really important work, driving ambulances in Iraq. Now he's home, and he's still a hero because he tells the ambulances where to go when there's an emergency. I'm so proud of him. He's awesome. He's my dad.
If a service-connected disability hinders your civilian career, Volk Rehab offers a variety of services to help prepare you for your next mission.